All right, all right. Hey there, Jesse.
Hey, Jones, how are you doing?
I'm doing quite well. Happy Monday. It's Monday, the 10th of July, and we're about to begin our second education week of AI for All. Have you been following the hackathon so far?
Uh, a little bit. I saw that you guys were doing stuff with L402 APIs, and that's basically what I've seen. I've seen Nifty a little bit, and some stuff about Cody came on Twitter where you can wrap the entire ChatGPT API with L402s. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, super exciting stuff, isn't it? We've got a series of workshops this week as well. We've got some from Lightning Labs, Hannah's from Lightning Labs on Thursday. And we have our very own MTG who is going to be doing some pay to chat kind of UI, taking it on the UI side, because like all you guys are really hardcore, like on the back end and Rust and all that.
Yes.
So we're like, well, for these worlds to collide, right, you need the API to be outfitted with L402 and stuff, but we also need to present it to users. What's the experience going to be like for them?
Yes, exactly. Oh, that's what this talk is going to be about, actually.
Oh,
Because,
nice.
well, at least how you can enable that, right? Because you're going to create a lot of user-facing apps, right, on top of these L402 APIs. But if you get
Exactly.
practical, like how do you ship that to a user? You can create an API, but how do you actually use it? This user-facing app has to be connected to the user's Lightning node in order to send payments, right, on the user's behalf. So you have to do a lot of work as an app developer, either to run a Lightning node inside the app, or you have to connect to your user's Lightning node, or you would use custodial Lightning payments, for example. So probably if you have to connect to a node, then only nerds are going to use it, right?
Exactly,
Or you
exactly.
use custodial APIs. But yeah, so little teaser, but we've got a better option here.
Yeah, I mean, like especially for this hackathon where we're trying to like spread Bitcoin outside and to get like people who are not basically like in the field right now to think about like Bitcoin as an option for them, especially on the payment front. Um, they're not gonna be going in down that rabbit hole as much as we would to figure out like how am I gonna manage their channels and who
Yeah.
like how do I fix my routing and liquidity issues and all those kind of things. They're just like they want something that just works. So that's what makes me very excited for your talk. We got Christoph saying let's go. We got Python 360 saying LFG. Yeah, very excited for that. But before we get going, I got a bit of housekeeping, a little bit of housekeeping. So I just want to talk quickly about some of our sponsors here. So this event has been organized by Fedi. They're creating some really cool, federated world computer kind of technology with Chama and eCash and Bitcoin going out. Check it out. Got a beautiful website. You'll be able to get more information there about it. But Fedi's doing some amazing work in the field, and they're putting on this hackathon in collaboration with Stack or Stackwork. So definitely check it out. From what I remember, it's something kind of like Mechanical Turk with like some Bitcoin payouts and stuff, but that might be a super oversimplification. They're doing some pretty cool stuff with like AI in that process as well. And look, even Lorenzo says, nice. Yes, it is pretty nice. Who else do we got? We're also doing this in collaboration with Replit. Okay, so Replit is one of the leading online platforms, online REPL kind of platforms right now. They're really big into AI, and they have like some really cool tools, bounties, some community tools, as well as this concept of cycles, in which you kind of pay for computing time. So a lot of like AI developers and stuff are using Replit for that, and they're doing some cool stuff with Nix packaging and stuff. Are you like? I haven't really like gone into the whole Nix side of things. Do you know what that's all about?
I don't know what it's about a little bit. It's about a reproducible environment that you can just run the way it was intended to run, because it's always issues with different architectures, Linux, Mac, Windows, all these things. And Nix does make that a lot easier to manage.
Okay, well, I think like in the background, that's what's powering like Replit. So like I was always thinking like that's the use case of Docker, isn't it? Isn't that supposed to be the use case of Docker?
Yeah, it's sort of. It's also a use case of Docker, but with Nix you don't have to run that. It's like yeah, it's basically sort of the same thing, but you can also wrap more stuff into one Nix package.
Cool. We also got a bunch of sponsors who are supporting this event. We got Hivemind Ventures, Spirit of Satoshi, Prem, and Zebedee. These are some really cool companies and projects that are helping to support this mission of bringing Bitcoin to the world, to the AI world, and showing what kind of awesome use cases we can have from that. Just a quick little rundown again. We got prizes. Yes, we got an overall prize of $10,000. Remember that, people. We've got 4 different tracks, but everyone in those tracks are eligible for getting this overall prize. So the best in class project in one of those tracks gets 10K. The tracks are agents and machine payments. Basically, it could be as simple as wrapping your API with L402 and starting to accept Bitcoin payments. It can be something more complex, like the non-custodial stuff that Jesse's going to be showing. Jesse, if you have any ideas for people as well, that'll be great to tell them as well. And like starting from next week, this is when our educational programs kind of slow down, so more people would just have a chance to like focus on building. So now we're just trying to build up the inspiration and the knowledge base on how to do some of these things. We've got a privacy track. Privacy is also very important, privacy and security in this AI field. We've been kind of like, talking about like, Facebook has all our data, and this app has all our data. But in this, like, especially with these chatbot interfaces, it feels kind of intimate, right? But right, so you feel like you can have conversations with people about with this agent about XYZ. Maybe it's like some business process or whatever it is. Some people I see are even using it for therapy, right? I'm not sure if that's an area where we get to, where we connect still human to human. But if it's helpful for someone, okay, sure. But the point is, this data is all going to one company right now, right? The big one. So keeping an eye on privacy, non-custodial AI, perhaps, host it yourself, or at least have control of that data. And control meaning like it's on your kind of like hardware, or even if it's in the cloud, it's in an instance that you own. So yeah, this is very important. $1,000 for this track. We also have training. So, maybe some of you guys are just interested in, not necessarily building out software, but maybe it's to advance the training of these non-custodial or self-hosted AI models. What does that look like? It could be a data set. It can be a marketplace, right? There's a problem with getting training data. That's like a big and expensive part, right? That's the part that these companies are kind of like holding back for themselves. Do you have any thoughts on this training one, Jesse?
Well, it would be nice if you could get this training data sets locally and then run them locally as if. But yeah, I guess it just takes an awful lot of data to train these things. So I think you cannot decentralize that probably.
Well, I think like within a marketplace, someone might want to create an agent for like one specific purpose. It could be, for example, I don't know, like doing some accounting-based things, or you want an agent that does project management type things for like robotics, right? Or et cetera, like all these different domains. So if you're an expert in one of those domains, or you have data sets in those domains, maybe you're like, hey, I'm going to sell this like specific data set, and then someone can maybe purchase it with Bitcoin from wherever they are, right?
That makes sense.
Maybe there's some interesting things about like how you kind of like secure this data or prove that you have the data and stuff as well. That could be quite interesting. Do some cool cryptographic style things. I worked on such a project a few years ago, actually.
That sounds great.
Marketplace for data. And Bitcoin education. So if you are not a developer, if you just use these AI agents, this is a great track for you. You can come up with concepts, educational like material, using these AI agents. You can make your own agents, make your bots. This could be like, there's a bunch of like tools online, no code style tools using these AI stuff. So this is definitely a place for people who are maybe not hardcore in the development, maybe they don't know Rust or whatever, that we have a place for you. We always feel like it's important to have like a little less technical track at our events. We're trying to be inclusive and allow everyone to be able to have a chance to build and participate. So definitely, when you hear the word hackathon and stuff like that, you can still join in. This is a non-technical kind of track here for you guys. So check it out. Build some cool educational material for Bitcoin. Let's get it out into the world because we definitely need it. Bold Fun is still like one of the #1 places for a lot of this content, believe it or not.
Yeah, it's a topic in Bitcoin too, because everyone is an autodidact, right? So everyone has to learn by themselves. So if you can get something custom made by using AI, that's amazing.
Exactly. I was even talking to someone recently about doing a hackathon to output a book, but we do it in an interesting way where each chapter of the book becomes like a different track, and then all the materials that get outputted from like the projects and stuff like that, we then like throw it into an AI model, right? And then like try to generate the book from there. So it's kind of like community generated data set through a hackathon that outputs it. So I mean, it's a bit wacky maybe, but could be interesting. And just for the key dates, I'll be quick here. Key dates, we kicked off on the 1st of July. That's when project entries were open. Now, what does that mean? It means that you are basically, that the event, right? The hacking can begin on the 1st of July, but the first 2 weeks, we're dedicating it to education, right? Because we know some of you guys coming in here might not be so familiar with, Bitcoin or the AI field or whichever, L402, etc. You have 2 weeks to learn about these things, and the last 2 weeks to like focus on the building after you've consumed all that information. For those of you who already have an idea and want to start hacking, you could have done that from the 1st of July. You could do it this week. You could do it whenever. We have mentors in the chat and stuff like that. So join the Discord and ask questions, and we'll try to get to you, myself, Cody, or MTG. Then on the 31st, you have to submit your pitches, and the project entries also close at midnight on the midnight July 31st, and we're going to be announcing the winners a few days after. With all that said, Jesse, it's time to get started, right?
Okay, let's do it.
Are you ready? I'm going to be in the
ready,
background here. You're going to have the stage, and take it away.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so we told you that there's a way to easily integrate non-custodial Lightning payments into your AI-enabled apps, right? And there is, and it's called the Breez SDK. I'll tell you all about it, and I'll do a demo on how easy it is exactly to integrate non-custodial Lightning payments into your apps, into your AI-enabled apps, right? And a little spoiler, we're doing a Rust demo in the end. And if you've seen my Flutter demo on Twitter before, you'll see that it has become even easier to integrate Lightning payments with the SDK. So let's get started. About Breez, what is Breez and what is its purpose? Basically, the purpose of Breez is to create interfaces to the Lightning economy. And by doing that, we open up the world to peer-to-peer payments for people and apps. And I think this AI hackathon is a great way to get stuff that's not really Bitcoin related enabled by Bitcoin payments. Breez got known by the Breez app, which is a Lightning-only product. And this app, it runs a Lightning node inside the phone to provide a non-custodial Lightning experience. This app has existed for over 5 years now. And it contains some features like streaming stats to podcasters. It's got a point of sale user interface. It's basically, the takeaway is the ability to use Lightning without being a Lightning expert, right? Without having to know anything about channels or liquidity or all these things, how to open channels. All the liquidity management is done by the app itself by leveraging Lightning service providers, or called LSPs. I'll explain more on LSPs later. And based on the learnings from creating this app, Breez shipped the Breez SDK. So what does Breez want? We want Lightning to be integrated into your day-to-day activities, right? To have a frictionless experience with your non-custodial money and the freedom to spend it as you wish. We basically want to realize a peer-to-peer economy with Bitcoin, bring Bitcoin to everybody. And that means every application integrates Lightning payments, or many applications integrate Lightning payments. So not just Breez or wallet apps, but apps that chat to you when you're lonely, right? Or apps for transcribing podcasts, or gaming apps, or charging your car, or fitness schedulers. Just any kind of app would integrate these Lightning payments. Question is, how do we get there? And on the road to that vision, where everybody uses Lightning, there will be developers like you that will integrate Lightning payments into their applications. And you guys just want to deliver something now, right? Soon, 2 weeks. So you'll take the quick and easy solution wherever possible. So the only way to get you guys to implement non-custodial Lightning payments if it's quick and easy to do so. Because otherwise you'll use a custodian or something because it just enables your app quicker. So that's what we need in order to be able to use Lightning everywhere in a non-custodial way. We need to make integrating Lightning payments very easy. Because if we win the developers, we win the world, and we can make a circular economy with Bitcoin. And that's the point of Breez SDK. It's a software development kit, and it aims at integrating Lightning payments into your applications extremely simple. Lorenzo asking a question about whether the SDK works for mobile apps, also for web apps. Currently, it's only for mobile. The web is on the roadmap. We have to support WASM, like WebAssembly, but we don't support that yet. So it's currently for native apps mostly. We do have, I'll explain later what languages we have and all that. So the SDK contains a fully featured set of options to facilitate Lightning payments. It's end-to-end. So basically anything you need to provide this Lightning experience. So also outside of Lightning payments specifically. Main point is the user has got their own keys. It's non-custodial. It's trustless. Only the user has possession over their funds. And that also means like KYC is out of the question, for example. And probably most importantly, it's effortless to implement, right? All you need to do is call a function, send payment, receive payment, and Breez SDK will handle all the Lightning complexities for you. So you can develop your app that integrates Lightning payments without having to be a Lightning expert. So where the Breez app made using Lightning easy, the Breez SDK makes developing apps that integrate Lightning payments easy. So let's go over how that works. Here's a list of features on the Breez SDK. I won't go into all of them. I just want to show this picture to ingrain the completeness of the SDK into your brain, right? Just look at it for a little while and then... Okay. These are the main components of what the SDK is composed of. Each end user of an app that is built on top of the Breez SDK gets their own personal Lightning node. And we chose Greenlight to host the Lightning node, and I'll explain more on that later. And in order to connect the user to the Lightning network, we use Lightning service providers, or LSPs. That term probably needs some definition because there's many definitions out there currently. But an LSP connects you to the Lightning network, just like an ISP connects you to the internet. The LSP provides liquidity in order for you to be able to receive payments. And it's well connected to the Lightning network, so you'll be able to send and receive to anyone in the network. The SDK is focused on Lightning, but we do provide interoperability with the on-chain through submarine swaps. So sending funds from Lightning to on-chain or receiving funds from on-chain into your Lightning channels. There's also fiat on and off ramps that provide an easy onboarding experience into Bitcoin for new and existing users as well. So that's one of these side things. So we don't only include Lightning payments, but also things you need on the side there. So let's put that into a picture. What we see here is the Breez SDK from the perspective of one end user of the SDK. And this end user will probably not know about what the Breez SDK is, only the app developers do, but this is what the infrastructure would look like. The user gets a personal Lightning node in the cloud on Greenlight. In the next slide, I will explain what Greenlight is exactly. And multiple apps are connected to the end user's node through the Breez SDK. But the user's device contains the keys. So your Lightning node is in the cloud, but you have the keys locally. And these multiple apps, they share the same balance because they interact with the same user node to get the same experience as you would get in the fiat system, right? Because you also have a single balance on your credit card, for example. You don't have an Uber balance and a newspaper balance and a charge your car balance, but you got a single balance for your programmable money. And then the user's node is connected to the broader Lightning network using Lightning service providers. Let's get into these parts separately here. So Greenlight, it's a product by Blockstream. What you get is a Lightning node in the cloud, but you hold the keys locally. And you can see Greenlight as the infrastructure provider for hosting your Lightning node. Because hosting a Lightning node is a specialized business, and you don't want newcomers to think about database security, networking security, firewalls, upgrades, all these things. So that's what Greenlight takes away from you. And you get your own personal node. So it's not like you're using their node to send payments. The end user gets his own node on their infrastructure. And yeah, important part is that the key is on this side and not on this side. So the user generates a seed locally. And with that seed, you initialize your personal node on the Greenlight infrastructure through the Breez SDK. And then for every operation that your Lightning node on Greenlight needs a signature for, it will communicate with the app in order to get a signature. Like, so you need signatures for receiving a payment, for sending payments, for connecting to other nodes, and all these things. And these apps, they can provide like simple payment functionality, or they can make very complex features possible. You can basically do anything that's possible on the Lightning network today by interacting with the Greenlight node directly. And some good news that comes with this is that data storage and bandwidth are very minimal, like compared to running a full Lightning node on your phone. And it's also much better suited for a mobile case with multiple apps. Because if you would have one app for Lightning payments and one app that wants to use Lightning payments, these apps can't really communicate with each other very well. So this method works a lot better because both apps can interact with the same Lightning backend. And having a backend for your app, that's just a much better suited model for mobile. So that's the Greenlight part. Let's talk about the LSP part too. So the LSP connects your personal user node to the broader Lightning network. It's a liquidity provider for the user's node. Whenever you run out of inbound liquidity, but you want to receive a payment, the Breez SDK will request a just-in-time channel from the LSP, which means when you receive the payment, a Lightning channel will be open to your node on the fly. And that way, you'll just never have to worry about liquidity again because it's all managed for you. And Breez is collaborating with other Lightning service providers to create open standards for LSP protocols with companies like C equals or Synonym. They're also running Lightning service providers. So that's how we create an open LSP architecture, and you're not vendor locked into anything. By the way, anything in the Breez SDK, you're not vendor locked to anything. Anything is composable and changeable, and you can do anything you want. You can take the code, run away with it. We actually want you to do that. So, and also these services you're not vendor locked to them too because of this LSP protocol. So there's a link here. We've got some specifications for Lightning service providers, and they're currently actively being developed. So if you are interested in this and you want to review these specs, then please do. There's a bunch of stuff in pull request there. But basically, the main takeaway is that the user or the developer of the app can choose any LSP that it likes, and it's not vendor locked to the LSP. So let's go into a more technical picture of the SDK. I think we've already covered most parts. I just want to say that like LN URL, for example, is included too from a sender perspective. You can send to a Lightning address. One big feature that we're working on is notifications. So when you are offline, because you have your Lightning node in the cloud, but you still need your phone to be online in order to sign for messages for receiving a payment or sending a payment. But if you're offline, we will provide notifications so you can wake up your phone, receive the payment, and then the phone can go to sleep again or wake up the app basically. And let's see. All these parts of the SDK, they're composable. You can swap out anything you like. We're also on the roadmap. For example, we have swapping out the Greenlight part for an LDK node, for example. You can use any other services that you like. Just take the code, run away with it, and plug in anything you want there. It's very important that all this stuff is open source. It's free, so you're not vendor locked to anything. The languages we currently support, because the Breez SDK is available in a bunch of languages now. Swift, Kotlin, Rust, Python, Go, React Native, Flutter, C#. These are the languages we currently support. Yeah, so as I said, we don't support web yet, but we've got WebAssembly on the roadmap to do that in the future. So it will come in due course. Okay. Yeah, and Lorenzo asks, like, in the future, it should be possible to receive the payment even if offline. And the notification is a good workaround. So in the future, there will have to be a change to the Lightning protocol called async payments, which allows for asynchronous sending and receiving. So the main point being that the sender and the receiver don't have to be online at the same time in order to send a payment to someone. And these async payments, they will enable receiving when offline, basically, or basically these two not being online at the same time. Also on the roadmap, but it's going to be somewhere later. So a lot of talking, but I suppose you want to see how this stuff works. So I've created a maybe I can show that first. I created a Replit Breez SDK workshop. It's on Cody's account currently. So Cody @Cody/Breez-SDK-workshop. And there's a little walkthrough here how we're ending up with this code that I've written. I'm going to basically walk you through the code now as well. I've got it on my local machine now just because I'm using a very new feature that is not even released yet, because we just made it a lot easier to get started with the SDK, and I really wanted to show that here today. So let's go. I'm just going to walk through code that uses the Breez SDK and show you how easy it is to send and receive Lightning payments. So we've got a Rust console application here. And the first thing we're doing, we're just getting some environment variables. We've got a Breez API key and a greenlight invite code and a mnemonic. The Breez API key you need in order to get liquidity from the Breez LSP. Because that's currently just the way it works. You can look at the LSP spec why you need an API key there. Then an invite code to get a node on greenlight. And you need your mnemonic, which is, to make sure that you've got your own keys on your local device and we're not... this example code will generate the mnemonic for you if the environment variable mnemonic is not set. I did set it right now into my .m file over here, but I just don't want you to see it because I don't want you to claim the funds on my brand new node I'm about to create in the cloud in a second. What we'll do is we'll parse this mnemonic and we will convert it to a seed. So far, we're not using the SDK yet. Here we'll start interacting with the Breez SDK. So what we'll do is we'll create a configuration object where we're going to use production, which is basically Bitcoin mainnet. And we'll add our Breez API key here. We've got some greenlight configuration with an invite code. And that we will save in the config variable. Then we will call, and this is basically the new part. It hasn't been this easy to get started with the SDK. You call Breez services connect. You pass the config, your seed, and an event listener. I'm going to show the event listener a little later when we'll show the receiving the payment part. So no questions yet. That's good. If you got any questions, like in the meantime, if I'm going over something too fast, just pop a message in the chat and I'll try to answer them. So connect, what connect does is basically it connects to the node. It creates a new node if you don't have one yet. It connects to the node and makes sure that the signer is running. So all these messages can be signed locally and that you can listen to events coming from the Breez SDK. So everything basically gets initialized by calling connect over here. So we're connecting to my personal node that I'm about to create in a second. When we've done that, when we've actually connected, we've got an SDK object over here. So everywhere where we see SDK, that is where I'll be interacting with the SDK. We can ask the SDK for our node info. yeah, so node info basically shows some information about your nodes, like the node ID and your balance, and we're going to log that to the console. Then if I don't have any channels yet, or I haven't received any funds yet, then I will want to receive a payment. I will call SDK, receive payment. For 10,000 sats, I'm just going to use a fixed amount here and a little description. My first Breez SDK invoice. Then when we've created it, so receive payment basically creates an invoice for you. And that's basically all you need in order to receive a payment. You just give that invoice to someone and they'll be able to pay it. If you want to wait for the invoice to be paid, then we'll go up to our event listener over here. So I showed that when we call connect, where are we? Yeah, when we call connect, we add an event listener over here. And I implemented an event listener up here. And when this event is the invoice paid event, then you will get some details about which invoice was paid. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to notify this notifier object over here. And this object allows you to wait for something until it's been triggered, until it's been notified. So because I'm just paying a single invoice here, I can just call notify waiters. And when I go back over here, you can see like when the invoice is paid, we'll be waiting for this thing to be triggered. And when it got triggered, we know that we got paid. And then maybe I can actually get the node info again, because we should have a larger balance over here. There we go. And then we'll just do a little loop over here for sending a payment. I'm reading from the console input. I'm reading an invoice, which I'll show you later, so you don't have to really pay attention to this. Just from reading the input. And then we've got a method here called parse, and that comes from the input parser. So you can parse input like a Bolt 11 invoice or an LN URL, Lightning address. You can parse them with this parse function, and it will show you like what kind of thing you're parsing. And currently, I'm interested in this Bolt 11 type invoice, and it will give us the invoice, and then we'll be able to call SDK.sendPayment, and then I'll wait for the payment to be paid. So this is basically the demo. We've got very short. We've got connect to your Greenlight node or create it. We've got a function receive payment, and we've got a function send payment, and we've got an event lister where we can wait for events to occur, like invoice paid. It can also got payment succeed, payment failed, and you can do some stuff in the background, for example, if you want to have a nice user experience. So I'm just going to run this now for the first time. I've got my environment variable set, so this should probably work. Let me get my app ready too. And yeah, so we need to compile this. And okay, so we're starting the Breez SDK. So we're over here now. We're connecting to the Lightning node now. So we're actually creating a brand new node in the cloud right now. And now we've created a node in the cloud. You can see my node pub key over here, and we don't have a balance yet. And then we go over here, and we've actually called the receive payment function, and we've created an invoice. So let me copy this invoice and make sure that I pay this. I'm just going to pay it from my phone over here. So I'll show the phone in the... I just need to get that invoice copied and give it to my app. And I will do paste and send. Oh, it failed. That does suck. Let me see if I can do something nice with my app over here to make it. I've been using this app a lot, so it thinks every node is a bad node right now. So let me just try to fix that in the developer screen. And if it doesn't work, well, then it doesn't work. But at least you saw how easy it is supposed to be. There we go. Pasting its invoice again. No, it failed again. I've got one more option. Try Lightning Tipbot. See if that works. No. Okay. Unfortunately, this one didn't go through. But, well, I wanted to show you the idea, at least, for receiving and sending a payment. Yeah. So I guess that sort of concludes the demo with a bit of a bummer. But I did want to show you what you can do with the Breez SDK as well, because we're talking about AI stuff over here. Yeah, because we're talking about AI stuff over here. So I made a little bit of code how you can use the Breez SDK to interact with a 402 API. And I haven't actually, this is code that's not working, but I want to just show you how you could interact with a 402 API. So L402 API, right? So we've got ourselves a URL, and we're just going to call get on that URL. And then we're going to get a response. And if the response is a 402 status, we're going to get the www-authenticate header from the 402 response. 402 means payment required for if someone hasn't followed the last demos. We've got our authenticate header, and we can parse this header, and we can grab the token and the invoice from this header, because an L402 header will have a token and an invoice in it. Then what you can do is send a payment with the Breez SDK. And after that, when the payment has been completed, you can use that pre-image that comes from the payment result and put that into your request header. And you can call get again with that new header with your token and your payment pre-image, and probably then this API call will work. Just showing like how you would integrate Breez SDK with with an L402 API and with the AI stuff you're developing. So I think like if you're using a structure like this, then probably it's a lot easier to get users on board, because you don't have to worry about how to connect the user to the Lightning Network. It's just a couple of function calls basically to do that. Renee Aaron asks, how would backing up a user's wallet look like? Will users get a seed phrase? So yeah, if you're creating an app with Breez SDK, you will you'll have to give them a seed phrase. If you have the seed phrase, you'll be able to recover your node, which is on Greenlight itself, right? So you can recover your node from the cloud. Yeah, so basically, because it's cloud hosted, your data will be already there. And we're also working on copying all this channel state locally. So I will, after the demo, I will share a link to this demo code. I've also got the Replit link, by the way. I can just post that into the chat right now. Let me join the chat. I can't. I don't think I can. I can put something in the chat. But anyway, no, unable to post stuff in the chat. But I will post a link on Twitter. Maybe Jones can do it.
Yeah. Just DM it to me, and I'll post it up. Rene also asked, can you also initiate a new node from an existing seed phrase?
No. Well, not right now. No. One seed is one node right now. It's the way it works. I guess if someone really wants something like that to work, has a good use case for it, then I guess we can do something about that. But currently, it's just one seed phrase, one node. Yeah.
It's like derivation paths or something like that.
Yeah. So you're also always using the same derivation path. So,
it's super interesting. Now, where do we get? So we have about 200 Greenlight API keys, but we need some Breez API keys as well, right?
Yes. Oh, yeah. You can definitely get them. Let's get you hooked up with some Breez API keys as well.
All right.
Yeah.
So anyone could write in the workshop channel in Discord, and just ping myself or Jesse, and I think that could be a good way to get those keys acquired, right?
Yeah, maybe if maybe I can hook you up with a bunch of.
Hook me up with them. Okay, so then like anyone who wants keys, just hop in workshops and type. Yeah, we got a workshop channel in Discord. Just tag me, and we'll get you sorted out. Nice.
Let's do that.
Yeah. Super nice presentation. I'm not a Rust developer myself.
No, yeah. So I hope it was easy to follow, like these functions.
But it was
receive payment, send payment. It's a shame that the demo didn't work for me right now. I've got
live demos. Come on, you know how it goes.
Christoph
had like 200 API keys, so nice. Don't know what he's working on there.
About Christoph. Yeah, I guess you need one Breez so your Breez API key. You can reuse that for multiple users. The Greenlight invite codes, they are like one invite code is one node. So if you get one invite code, you can initialize one node on Greenlight. If you're building some stuff.
I see how it is.
And
okay, so
Greenlight. Yeah, if you're actually building an app, right, with which needs multiple users, you can get a Greenlight partner certificate, and with this certificate you can make multiple nodes for any user you want.
Gotcha. Okay, so Christoph is expecting more than 200 users, so let's go. All right. Well, thank you so much, Jesse. We're going to be taking a little break now, and in about 10 minutes we're going to be having another stream. This one is with MTG, and it's called Paper Chat, and it's a series, and that will focus a lot on the UI, UX of these chatbots. We're going to be using WebLN and some kind of cool stuff. Cool UX patterns that we're just trying to figure out, to be honest. So we'd love to get some feedback on it, and tune in the next 10 minutes or so.
Cool. Let me just say something about Breez. Like, we are very reachable. So if you, I've got some contact details on the slide. If you want to show that, I don't know if you've already showed that. Yeah. So on Twitter, Breez tag, github.com/Breez, Telegram, t.me/Breez_lightning. and our website, breez.technology. Just send us a message if you need anything. Yeah?
Thank you so much. Christoph says he only uses one API key at a time to prevent tracking, just like Bitcoin addresses.
Okay. Yeah, sounds like a great idea, Christoph. Just get in touch if you're developing an app. Cool.
Privacy. We do have a privacy track at the end of the day.
Nice.
All right. Thank you so much, Jesse. Reach out to Jesse and Breez at Breez_tech on Twitter. You guys are super active there. And you produce some, you're also active on Medium. There's some really awesome articles that you guys post on there. Maybe I get Roy to post on BoltFun instead. Wink, wink. All right, Jesse. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me, John. Bye-bye.
Ciao, ciao.